Hello everyone, back tuning into today's third video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next week to 10 days and beyond for today's third video. So this is going to take us to around the 8th of October, that's day 10. But we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensemble, so it's run to around a couple of weeks. And we'll have a look at CFSB2 for the next 4 weeks as well at the end of the video. That's updated. We did GMA Friday yesterday. We hadn't had a CFS weekly update for a couple of days, but it's updated overnight, so I'll bring you the very latest from the CFS for the next 4 weeks at the end of the video. Just to say that weekend forecast has been released, so this is going to cover the same sort of time frame, at least initially, to weekend forecast. Going to be a very active week's weather, lots of wind and rain to come, and all eyes at the end of the week will be on the remains of Hurricane Lorenzo. Also, the first seasonal model roundup for winter of 2019-2020 has been released. We're getting together 11 long-range models for that one to see what they're all showing for the winter, and that's currently on the homepage at gazweathervids.com. You scroll down the page, you'll find it just above the weather alert section. Later on today, this afternoon, or early this evening, that's going to be placed on winter updates page with a written summary going over everything discussed in the video. Right, so let's get on with it. We're going to start off in the tropical Atlantic. So things calming down in the tropical Atlantic overall, but we do still have Hurricane Lorenzo. That's just our one interest area now. So we've got Hurricane Lorenzo just here, which is currently giving maximum sustained winds of 115 miles per hour. So it's a Category 3 hurricane with a central pressure of 957 millibars, and it's moving north-northwestwards at around 10 miles per hour. If we click on Lorenzo, we can see the forecast track. So still a major hurricane right now, but it's going to go down to Category 2. Lose major hurricane status any time. That may even have done so when you watch this video at around an hour or so's time. It's down to a Category 2 hurricane then. And then pushing northwestwards in that sort of direction, or northeastwards, to the Azores by the middle part of the week. By Thursday, going post-tropical, that's a post-tropical hurricane sitting to the southwest of Ireland and the UK. And that's going to be a major area of low pressure, of course, still at that point. And it may go in that sort of direction, possibly giving a bit of a nasty spell of weather in the second half of the week to Ireland and to parts of the United Kingdom as well. If we click on discussion, we can see the sustained winds forecast with this. So at the moment, still Category 3 at 115 miles per hour, but within the next 12 hours going down to 110 miles per hour, that's Category 2. And then gradually weakening over the next 2 or 3 days, going from Category 2 to eventually Category 1, and then by the middle of next week going post or extra tropical. And that will be around and to the north of the Azores. So very unsettled spell of weather coming up for the first week to 10 days of October, definitely. These are the 500 millibar height anomaly flowcharts from Penn State University for the next week to 10 days. Takes us to around the 8th of October. We've got the ECMWF on the top. And the GFS, which we'll have a look in a moment, is on the bottom. So 500 millibars, 18,000 feet is an area in the absolute high pressure and low pressure being moved around by the jet stream. Red extrapolates to above average heights, which is high pressure. Blue to below average heights, which is low pressure. Look what the ECM is doing in the 7 to 10 day time frame. And this trough of low pressure out to west of us does contain the remains of Hurricane Lorenzo as well. So very unsettled conditions. Deep trough of low pressure from the Atlantic into much of northern Europe with a strong westerly jet stream as well. The Atlantic well and truly unleashed then. The Atlantic back in business big time for the first week to 10 days of October. And the GFS is very similar. Again, we've got all of this low pressure to the west, northwest. But we have got some higher pressure to our south. We've got a ridge around Spain. But overall, again, this is a strong jet stream that's coming across the Atlantic with those areas of low pressure. So both models look very unsettled for the first week to 10 days of October, with plenty of rain to come and possibly some severe gales at times as well. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks for London. So the red line here is 30-year upper air temperature average for London, and we're starting off round average at the moment. Going to be a bit up and down over the next few days as areas of low pressure push through. By the middle of the week, we have a bit of a cold snap coming up. That's all covered by the weekend forecast, of course. And then after that, this pickup in the temperature just here is potentially associated with the remains of Hurricane Lorenzo. Remember, Lorenzo is coming out of the tropical Atlantic, so it will have a lot of warm and humid air associated with it, but also rain-laden air as well. Once that gets out of the way, it looks like temperatures are generally going a little bit on the cooler side, actually, through the second week of October. So certainly no sign of anything definitively warm for the first half of October. We may get the odd day, particularly associated with the remains of Lorenzo, that's quite warm and humid, I suppose, but there's no sign of any sustained warmth lasting for a prolonged period. And precipitation-wise, it continues to look very wet. So, we've got heavy rain coming up tonight and tomorrow. Another dose of very wet weather Monday through to Tuesday. A drier day around the middle of the week, but then after that, it's going unsettled again into the second half of the week, next weekend, and probably beyond. This, as I've said in the videos over the past few days, is going to be the most sustained spell of unsettled weather that we've had in the south and the east since back in June. Temperature anomalies on the 28th of September to the 6th of October. Overall, a little bit milder than average, particularly for England and Wales. It's not a big deviation either way, so very close to average. Notice Scandinavia is looking quite cool or even cold in the week ahead. Precipitation anomalies away from Scotland continues to be average to wetter than average. So from the 28th of September to 6th of October, it's generally looking on the wetter than average side for most of us, except across the northern parts of Scotland. So the GFS is looking for Tuesday then. So there's the remains of the Hurricane Lorenzo just there. In fact, that probably is still a hurricane at that point. That's either Category 1 or Category 2 to the west of the Azores. For us, we're under low pressure, so for England and Wales, it'll be wet on Tuesday, drier but colder further north. The middle of next week turns drier, cooler or colder for all of us. This ridge of high pressure extends down from the north. Wednesday is likely to be the driest, but also the coolest day of the week. Category 1 Hurricane Lorenzo bearing down on the Azores Islands there through the middle of next week. And then Lorenzo very quickly pushing northwards out of the Azores to the west-southwest of Ireland as we get through to Thursday. This is 6 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. By this point, it's an extratropical storm, so it's not a hurricane, it's not a tropical storm, it's gone post or extra-tropical, but it is still a very significant area of low pressure. Could bring gales or severe gales to Ireland, western parts of the UK. That does give us a direct hit from Thursday through to Friday as this low pressure pushes across the country. So watch out in the second half of the week for the chance of very stormy weather, potentially quite wet too. Once that gets out of the way, we're into this run of westerly winds, low pressure dominating to the west of Scotland and driving in further bands of rain next weekend. So an unsettled and probably quite cool weekend coming up next weekend. And beyond that, up to day 10, it stays unsettled. This is day 10, Tuesday the 8th of October. Another area of low pressure is rattling in. That's giving us yet another bout of wet and windy weather. That one gets out of the way by Wednesday, the 9th of October, and winds are turning into a colder northerly. A little bit of a cold snap there for a couple of days, and then low pressure is coming back in off the Atlantic again as we get through to Saturday the 12th of October. Next low is bringing the next batch of wet and windy weather across the country. We end up on Monday the 14th of October, as far as we can go with this GFS running to the middle of the month, still looking really, really unsettled. This could be the wettest first half to October. Who knows, maybe even wettest October, but certainly the wettest first half to October that we've had for a very, very long time. This may be the wettest that we've been since 2012, maybe even beyond that. So we shall see. But it is certainly looking like a very, very unsettled first half to October. This is how the GEM is looking. So again, Tuesday rather wet, particularly for England and Wales. That low gets out of the way, and wind turns into the north. So a drier but colder day on Wednesday. Then on Thursday through to Friday, got low pressure very close to us. However, we don't get a direct hit from Lorenzo. That's the remains of Lorenzo just there to the west of the Bay of Biscay on Friday. So that's rather different. It does highlight the uncertainty again with this storm, with the remains of Lorenzo. Exactly where it's going to go is not definitive yet. So it's just going to be a case of keeping a close eye on what's happening with this low pressure at the end of the week. Potentially it could turn very stormy around Thursday to Friday from the remains of Lorenzo, but it's not guaranteed at this stage. That's how we look as we go through to next weekend. So this is Saturday, 5th of October. Then we're going into a northerly wind. Starting to get some high pressure building in from the west. That's quite a chilly weekend coming up next weekend, but mainly dry in complete contrast to what the GFS was just showing. And as we get to day 10, still a bit of an influence from high pressure, especially for England and Wales. So that's a much drier but also rather colder scenario for next weekend and up to day 10 from the GEM. Let's see what the ECM has to say. So Tuesday again looking wet across much of England and Wales in particular. That low gets out of the way for Wednesday. We're into a drier, colder day on Wednesday. There, of course, is Hurricane Lorenzo there to the west of the Azores. What does the ECM do with Lorenzo? This is how things look at midnight on Thursday. We're still under a ridge of high pressure, so mainly dry. It could be quite chilly, but the area of low pressure is now a post-tropical storm. Area of low pressure, which is still a very intense feature though, is getting closer towards the southwest of Ireland. The ECM gives us a direct hit from the remains of Lorenzo as well. So we've got the GFS and the ECM both looking very stormy at the end of the coming week. That's Friday the 4th of October at midnight. Obviously there will be severe gales battering much of Ireland, probably these Irish Sea coasts as well, gale force winds elsewhere, and I suppose a lot of very heavy rain, particularly in the north and the west. That low very quickly scoots off the scene and gets out of the way by Saturday, 5th of October, and then we're going into this west-southwesterly wind. And similar to what the GFS is showing, then we go into a very unsettled spell of weather. We continue to be very unsettled right the way up to day 10 with low pressure dominating weather. So that slightly more anticyclonic run that we had from the GEM for the end of this coming week and next weekend is not really particularly well supported by either the ECM or the GFS. It looks like the two main models do want to bring the remains of Lorenzo into Ireland and the west of the UK and possibly give us quite a battering, and beyond that just staying very unsettled with both of those models. Also going to be a lot of heavy rain around in the next week to 10 days, so this is the rainfall forecast from that ECM run from tameteo.com. This is for starting off today, so this evening. Heavy rain gathering out to the west. That pushes eastwards overnight. Going to be a soaker of a night for much of England and Wales tonight. Really wet weather. That rain pushes up to Northern Ireland and Northern England tomorrow morning and just to the far south of Scotland, but most of Scotland actually stays out of trouble. And then we have further showers, if not longer spells of rain through the course of tomorrow before the low clears out of the way into the North Sea tomorrow evening. Turns drier overnight, sunny into Monday, and then on Monday, here comes the next batch of wet weather. Some really heavy rains pushing northwards again, particularly affecting England, Wales, just to Northern Ireland and the south of Scotland, Monday through to Tuesday. That low gets out of the way for the middle of the week, and we go drier, but also a little bit colder. And then here comes the remains of Lorenzo just here, this big area of low pressure. I reckon that will be giving 80 mile an hour gusts at least to parts of Ireland and also potentially western Scotland, possibly even higher than that, possibly 90 mile an hour gusts in there. The rain with that is primarily in the north this time. There is not as much down in the south and the southeast. And then beyond that into next weekend, we just stay unsettled, more bands of rain coming through with showers in between, going right the way up to day 10. There's no sign of anything particularly settled there. These are the options that we've got on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10, which is the 8th of October. So we have 16 members of the ECM ensembles with above average heights to our south and below average heights to our west-northwest. They're feeding in west or southwest winds. Looks quite unsettled. 14 members, the ECM ensembles with low pressure to the east and west of us. Bit of a ridge to the south and also blocking around Greenland. They're probably quite unsettled. We've got 12 members of the ECM ensembles, including the operational run. That's a run that we're just looking at with below average heights, low pressure to our east, so above average heights out to the west. That looks quite unsettled. The most settled option are these 9 just here. They actually have us under an area of high pressure at day 10. Would be bringing quite a chilly east or northeasterly wind though. With those 9. However, most of those ensemble members are looking quite unsettled at day 10. As we go through to 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. It's getting us towards the middle of October, so this is to the 13th of October. We have 20 members of the ECM ensemble still with low pressure over the top of the country and to our east, high pressure from Greenland to the mid-Atlantic. They're cool and unsettled with those 12. However, 17 have high pressure centred almost over the top of the country, and 14 have high pressure up over Scandinavia and bring in east or northeasterly winds. So by the middle of October, we could be seeing a trend towards higher pressure here, possibly bring drier conditions, not necessarily warmer though. High pressure in October can either deliver quite warm conditions still if the air is coming up from the south, but if the air is coming in from north of east, then high pressure in October will actually deliver quite cool conditions, maybe even night frost. So that would be still to be determined if we did build in high pressure, exactly what the temperature would be doing with that high pressure. It would be determined by the exact origins of any ridging. Finally, I promised you the CFS V2, so these are 500 millibar heights broken down into week periods. The first week period takes us from the 28th of September to the 4th of October. The coming week is unsettled. Low pressures in the Atlantic and through the UK into Northern Europe. We've got blocking up over Greenland and a ridge down towards Spain. Quite a complicated pattern, but the upshot is we're on the cool side of a jet stream, and it is an active jet stream, and areas of low pressure will be deep and bringing in a lot of wet weather with them. Week 2 also looking unsettled. This is the 5th to the 11th of October. A trough of low pressure is more or less centred over top of the country. We've got blocking again from Greenland back into the Arctic. Jet stream is doing something like that, so we're going to be on the cool side of the jet stream again there, and very unsettled. Week 3 continues to be unsettled also. This is the 12th to the 18th of October. If this is right, this is the most unsettled October that we've had for a very long time, with below average heights over and to the north of the country. There's those westerly winds. It's a little bit milder probably, that one, because the wind will be more west to southwesterly, I think. But nevertheless, it's still unsettled for the middle of October there. And then we go through to week 4, which is the 19th to 25th of October. Signs of a bit of a change then. The low pressure looks like it's lifting out towards Greenland and Iceland. There's a big ridge that's building to the east of Scandinavia into the west of Russia. That's trying to turn the winds into the east. So possibly becoming drier there into the second half of October. Could be a little bit on the cold side though if those winds do switch around to an easterly. Temperature anomalies in the week ahead from the 28th of September to the 4th of October. Cooler than average. It's going to be quite a cool week coming up. Week 2 doesn't look particularly exciting temperature-wise either. This is the 5th to the 11th of October. At best, it's average. So first couple of weeks of October look rather cool, really. Week 3 also just average. Is the 12th to the 18th of October. So that one also with average temperatures, possibly hints at going a little bit above average with temperatures for week 4 for Scotland. Elsewhere, it's still close to average. That's the 19th to the 25th of October. And then we have the precipitation anomalies. So in the week ahead, the 28th of September to the 4th of October, drier than average to the north, wetter than average, particularly for England and Wales. All places wetter than average in week 2, which is the 5th to the 11th of October. That's substantially wetter than average week. Close to average in week 3, which is the 12th to the 18th of October. And then week 4 also is close to average, as a signal is weakening away in weeks 3 and 4, as it always does. So a very, very active spell of weather coming up. If you've been waiting for the weather to liven up after all of the high pressure that we had through the first 3 weeks of September, well, here we go. The weather is definitely livening up. We're going to have regular bouts of rain. There'll be strong winds in between. We're watching out for the risk of what is currently Category 3 Hurricane Lorenzo to possibly give us remains that to possibly give us a real battering at the end of the week with severe gales and more wet weather. And it looks like this Atlantic onslaught is going to continue right the way through the first, let's say the first 10 days of October, but it could actually go on even longer than that. There's no sign of any sustained high pressure, I don't think, at this stage. But things can change very quickly, as we know, with the weather. So we'll be looking out to see whether high pressure does come back. But at the moment, looks like it's low pressure all the way for the first week to 10 days of October and potentially even beyond. That's it for today's videos. Don't forget to check out weekend forecast and also that first season 1 roundup for the winter of 2019-2020. That video will be placed on the winter updates page later on this afternoon or early this evening, with a written summary going over everything that we discussed in the video in terms of those 11 long-range models. There is a very clear trend in there, but I'll leave you to watch the video to find out what that trend is. Tomorrow, we're going to have the 5th Winter 2019-2020 update. That promises to be another real epic. I'm not sure if it'll run to an hour or not, but it will be an epic video again for you tomorrow, 10 a.m. That video will be up, and then between 5 and 6 o'clock there'll be a live chat on the YouTube channel. Do a live stream on Gav's YouTube channel talking about the winter update and taking as many of your questions as I can. No doubt the remains of Lorenzo will come up in that live stream as well. Just to say that if you watch the videos at gavsweathervids.com and you don't regularly visit the YouTube channel, but you would like to take part in the live stream, then you'll need to subscribe to the YouTube channel, because we're not streaming this on gavsweathervids.com. I want to keep all of the comments, if I can, to just one place, and that is YouTube. So however you watch your videos, if you want to take part in that live stream or watch it live, you'll need to subscribe to the Gavs Weathervids YouTube channel. Please click the bell as well when you subscribe, a notification bell icon, because otherwise you can get unsubscribed sometimes by YouTube. I do have people asking me why they have suddenly been unsubscribed from the channel by YouTube. Apparently, if you click that bell icon, which gives you notifications, then you won't be unsubscribed. That's what I've heard anyway. I'm not sure if that's right or not, but I've heard that that's the case. So subscribe to the YouTube channel. You'll be able to find out when the live stream is actually happening as we're doing it. Otherwise, I will embed the video that has the live stream onto Gavs Weathervids after the event. But one or two people have asked how they can get involved with the live stream while we're doing it live, and that's the way you do it, by subscribing to the YouTube channel. Right, so I'm going to have to write up the written version of the season 1 roundup very shortly, and then I'll be cracking on with the 5th winter update through the rest of this evening. But that's all for now, and thanks for watching.